Good evening.
Everywhere I go on this island, it seems to me I find degeneracy.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. See, it's a lot scarier when there's no motive, Sid.
We have a bargain.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
Do you feel the pain? Where's the pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
His entire work consists of violence, all the time, obsessed with the issue of violence. Mayhem, gouging out of eyes, autopsies on the stage.
Come. It is time to keep your appointment.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Double Feature Horror Show, which some have described as an acquired taste. Huh? See what I did there? See what I did? All right, folks, welcome to episode 188. We are still in Member Mandate May, where basically you wonderful people who support the channel every month, you get a sort of concentrated opportunity to have your choice over what we cover. And this week it is the request of our longest, I was about to say serving, but maybe that's the wrong word. Or maybe with this week's film, it's the right word. Longest serving member, Mr. Gently Benevolent, who was very benevolent in letting me persuade him not to force Battlefield Earth on us, as was originally requested. Instead, mercifully, he asked that we cover Feed from 2005. Aren't you glad, TCG? Aren't you glad?
I'm not glad. I feel like he just force fed me this. I cannot. I literally finished the film like 2 minutes ago. I can't even begin.
Could you just tell people why you only finished the film about 2 minutes ago?
Okay. Oh, we're going there, are we? Okay.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. So normally, what I'll do is a couple of hours before the stream, if I haven't had time, I will get the film in at least an hour before the stream starts, so that it's fresh in my mind and whatnot. And tonight was no exception. So I go to my trusted websites, to get my totally legitimate link. I find Feed from 2005. I click on my totally reliable link, and I proceed to watch the film. And I'm thinking, this is interesting because it doesn't seem to look a lot like it's advertised, but maybe, we're just warming up. It's got James Remar in it. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, yeah. Harry's dad
like a bit of Remar.
Dexter's dad. Yeah, absolutely. And, a little bit of Draco Malfoy as well. Yeah. So I'm watching the film. Things happen. The girl develops an eating disorder. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, we're going to go from one end of the spectrum and then sort of flip it and go all the way to the other end. Get about an hour in and nothing's happened. There's about 45 minutes left of the film, and I'm thinking, okay, don't worry. It's just a slow burner, okay. 30 minutes left, okay, not much is happening. 20 minutes, why is she getting thinner? 15 minutes left, why is she still getting thinner? End of the film. I've watched the wrong bloody feed, haven't I?
In fairness, what are the odds?
It linked me Feed from 2007. So there was an absolute scramble to find a totally legitimate link for this one that actually worked, and then proceed to watch the film. And all I'm going to say is, I wish I didn't.
What? This isn't getting 2 thumbs up?
No.
You didn't go in for seconds?
No, definitely not. No. This was an all-you-can-eat buffet that I am skipping entirely. Which, funny enough, I'm actually doing tomorrow night.
All-you-can-eat buffet?
All you can eat Indian buffet, and then I'm going to take the better half to go and see the new Final Destination movie.
Yeah, cozy.
And I did watch, and I watched Until Dawn last week as well with my son.
Yeah, you were pretty chuffed with that, weren't you?
Yeah, pleasantly surprised. It's not that. For anyone who watched the live streams of me playing the game, it's not really. It's not really tied that closely as much to the game. There's a couple of references to it, and it's got Peter Stormack from the games as well. He's in it. But yeah, there's a couple of loose references, and it's sort of like at the end of the film, it sort of ties in the location of the game, as if to say, if we make a sequel, it's gonna be here. But yeah, I mean, on the whole, I'd say it's kind of Happy Death Day mixed in with The Cabin in the Woods.
What? Yeah. I mean, when you told me that, I thought, oh, that sounds fun. Like with the video game adaptation, I don't expect super high quality. I kind of expect a fun time.
Yeah.
You know? I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting to see how they would try and spin it, because obviously, if you've played the game or if you've seen footage of the game, you know there is a through line. The game does have a through line, but I suppose the only unique thing about it is, you know, the choices that you make depend on, you know, result in characters living or dying. But obviously, as a film, you don't really have that level of control. So it would have been interesting to see where that went. But they went with something else, and I feel like if people are going to slate the film, I think it's going to be for the same reason they slated Doom. Because if Doom wasn't called Doom and it was called anything else, I think it would have been more positively received than it was. And I haven't seen the reviews of Until Dawn, to be fair, so I don't know what critics are saying. But if they are, I think if it wasn't called Until Dawn and it was just called something else, then I reckon it would be more positive. I reckon it would be more positively received if it isn't already being, I guess.
All right, fair play. Well, reasonably positive review, guys. If you're curious about Until Dawn, and we will of course wait for the Final Destination Bloodlines review. I'm going to try and get my hands on that as soon as possible.
But feet can get stuffed.
Yeah. Wait. Murgoot, my friend, were you delighted to watch this week's film?
Not really. I knew what I was getting into. I saw it when it first hit cable about 20 years ago, and I remembered my humor was much darker then, and I hadn't let's just say that I hadn't stopped haunting the darker corners of the web at that point. Now it was just revolting. It's effective, very effective, but I wouldn't say I enjoyed it.
Okay, fair play. We'll get into it. I'll welcome Mr. GB, who is rocked up. Good to see you. Well, Mr. GB, it's not Susan anymore. It's Neil Mohan, I'm afraid. So it's Neil Mohan has stinged you on that one. Terrible. Irredeemable, some would say. Excellent. I've watched so many of what's it called?
Fat Families. Yeah, Fat Families.
That man's an absolute savage.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into it, and we'll say it is absolutely lovely to have the team back together again. Before we get into it, I'll just do really quick shills. Everyone's links are in the description, and keeping us on the keeping us moving. Yes, it's Member Mandate May. We're rewarding members with a film of their choice, and if you would like to join the party, it is not too late. I will try and fit your film in. May be covered in the week. It may be a bonus stream, but I will get it covered. So if you fancy that, you can, if you really want to get Angel Heart, then you can sign up as a member, request it, and I'll cover it. That's either here or on Subscribestar. And then you get all the exclusives. You get to vote on the theme arcs we covered. So all good. All good. That's how we do it. And also say something that should be going out fairly soon. I recorded a discussion on Smile 2 with Poe's Law. Really good discussion. Really good film. Definitely a superior sequel. But I realized that it would be a bit weird to put something out directly on a sequel. So I'm going to record you a commentary on the first film, which I believe has got some hidden depths that are really interesting. As has this film, by the way. Feed has got some hidden depths that maybe TCG and Murgoot are going to say I'm absolutely schizo over, but we'll find out as we go. John Goris has picked up on it. There's quite a little thing here. I'm basically seeing this film as a chonk-obsessed Aussie version of Seven with all the editing of the Saw films. That's what I sort of see in this, but we will get into this film. Before we go any further, Mr. GB making great use of his, oh my goodness, 30-month membership. That is amazing. Kind of humbling. Well done.
Very good, mate. Very good.
Solid.
I am a pretty bad spice card, to be fair. No, that is a valid comment. I will admit to that.
One day they just can't get you down to Swindon.
I'm never going back there.
No. It is grim. It is grim. Yes. Right. So with the shills done, remember friends links are in the description. You can tell I'm still recovering from the flu, can't you? Yeah. All the links are in the description. Support the channel via super chats or ideally memberships. And with that said, we will now cover our requested film, Feed, which opens up with this. For anyone who didn't manage to get their hands on this, and the only copy I could get was like 480p. So it was absolute potato quality, and given the editing, it was kind of a deep fried potato, very appropriately. But anyone who didn't manage to watch this in all its 480p glory, would either of you fancy doing the Pint of Guinness summary for Feed 2005?
Go on then, considering the fact that I just watched it.
So
this film centers around an Australian police officer. That is important to note early on. He works, but I think he works in he's a cybercrime investigator for Interpol. And there is a case that he's about to break in Germany. I think it's a cannibal case. It's like a cannibal case, and I think this one is based off the Armin Maives story. For those who don't know, so basically, they raid the house, search, and they find the guy in the bathroom, and there you go. Oh, by the way, I just want to preempt this as well and just say that I'm dreading at how big the Britishers are going to be this evening. So yeah, he finds the man on the right feeding a Wiener Schnitzel to the man on the left, but the man on the left is consuming his own Wiener Schnitzel, and he is very much like, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. Yeah, it's mine Wiener Schnitzel. If I don't want to eat it, I will do so. Yeah, and then meanwhile,
I love the Chad grin on that guy.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I'd say a shit-eating grin, but
yeah,
maybe that was dessert. It is Germany.
It's a dick grin, isn't it? However, there is another guy all the way in America, in Ohio, of course, a guy called Michael who has a website.
I've got him right here.
There. Oh my God! Where are these Britishers? Come on.
Oh, we can do that, can't we?
Can we? I don't know if we can.
I've been a bit careful. All right. I'll take him off.
And he likes them big. He likes them big. But for some reason, Philip has a massive problem with this, so much so that he's going to break international law, jurisdictions, and travel over to America to have it out with Michael. Michael, proper horror show, beautifully described as being Milo Yiannopoulos, and now I cannot unsee it. But yeah, it's basically man likes fat women. Man who doesn't like fat women wants to fight man that likes fat women. Oh,
Yeah.
and the fact that the man who likes fat women might also be killing them as well
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, kind
by
of.
feeding them to death.
Yes, we
Such a stupid film.
Like I told Proper Horror Show and you, Omegon should watch this right after his latest Foodie Beauty expose.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh god, that's a deep pull. What a memory.
Hang on. So are we saying that Omegon is Philip?
Basically.
Actually, it would make sense based on the ending of the film.
Mm.
It would make sense. And I was like, what? Why have you done? Why after all of that? Why? We'll get to it. But yeah, I was very much like, what? No, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, it is building up to that rather excellent shot at the end. That is your payoff. You know, there's kind of a thing to put this in some genre context. We are dealing effectively with a body horror film. That's basically what's going on, but it's a weird body horror film. And that term's been around since the early 80s, but there's always been a thing where the body horror has been focused on something supernatural, you know? It's if we go back to, like, I mean, we can go way back. We can talk about, say, Quatermass, or the Japanese films like Tetsuo.
Or
it's
Freaks.
some kind of, I probably wouldn't put Freaks in that.
It's
but
the original body horror.
I suppose so, but I suppose with the ending it would work. But I always think of the body, with me, like, body horror is about the development of the situation, and it's almost always like a supernatural, like usually from the start it's something comes from space and infects you and slowly contorts you. That's your Quatermass experiment, or Tetsuo. Actually, Tetsuo might be space.
Cronenberg's work, especially like Videodrome, where it's mad science gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, Tricky Menthols, right? Society is your alien influence for that. Also, the sadly forgotten Slither, great little movie from James Gunn with Nathan Fillion in a starring role.
Hilarious movie.
So good.
The breeder woman just made that whole movie.
Oh, it was lovely. I wonder why that one popped into my head. Cronenberg does his own development where he brings in this sort of psychosexual component. So it's kind of like a mental corruption is what leads to the body corrupting. From particularly in The Brood, as Daniel Hall has referenced, great call. All varieties of that. It's a psychosexual mind issue corrupts the body, and it's about the body slowly developing in a disgusting way. And it's
this had the fetishism of Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill, D. Snyder's Strangeland, where it's body modification with a psychosexual bent to it.
Very interesting you referenced that. Well, both of those. Strangeland is interesting because this stands out because the body horror isn't from anything supernatural.
Mhm.
Which I'm not saying it's unique, but it's very rare. You know, like, and this one is almost saying it's not even supernatural. It's actually something borderline commonplace, is what the film is getting at. Like, this film is using extreme obesity as a source of horror, and you can just put on a show like My 600-Pound Life, you know, and see many such examples of people Tammy size. I mean, you see people Tammy. Oh, that's a deep pull from the show. Sorry, Deirdre. Deirdre's size or much bigger, but
Or YouTube, the mukbangs.
yeah, the mukbang people.
Nikocado Avocado, Foodie
That's-
Beauty. Some of the other ones who really just destroy themselves.
So it's very notable that it's not taking horror from somewhere extreme. It's taking horror from something actually pretty commonplace, which is quite daring. But since you mentioned Silence of the Lambs, this came up in a bit of research. You can imagine not many of my books have talked about this. I can't think why. But it does get a mention in Kim Newman's Nightmare Movies. So I'll just give you a little bit here. FBI agents Will Graham, Dale Cooper, Clarice Starling, Fox Mulder, and Dana Scully raised the profile of the profiler and even set fashion trends with portable tape recorders, raincoats with huge yellow FBI logos, practical but cool coiffures, and sharp-shouldered suits. Specialists, coroners, psychoanalysts, computer programmers, forensic investigators, consultants took over from regular policemen, and cop-doc hybrids brought an array of arcane knowledge to the pursuit of criminals, relying on cutting-edge science or psychological acuity. Such figures proliferate in films such as When the Bough Breaks, 1994, Serial Killer, 1995, Bone Daddy, 1998, The Crimson Rivers, 2000, Taking Lives, 2004, Feed, 2005, 3, 2006, Animal, 2007, Untraceable, 2000. It goes on for about 15 more titles there, and he's not being extensive. Could have got The Bone Collector in there if anyone saw that terrible movie. So
book is so much better, and it's still shit. But excuse my French.
No worries, man.
It's pop.
So Newman is locating this film in part of that trend of almost like horror leaking into a different genre, and I think that's pretty fair. Like, I've been interested in that, where kind of a standard police protocol gets spiced up by getting a whole load of, well, basically horror imagery in there. You sort of go much further than any cop drama would have into extreme horror elements as started happening.
Strangeland. Yeah,
absolutely. Some would even say Saw is a sort of branch off of that. You know, Saw always clung very close to the involvement of the police group that was investigating it. So it's sort of infected with that. And of course, I think if you watch this film, you have to think of Saw, right?
I thought more Strangeland or Silence of the Lambs, but that's just me. It actually brought memories of watching the TV series from Chris Carter, Millennium, one of the original serial killer horror police procedurals with almost a psychic bent to it.
Not well remembered now, unfortunately. I did try watching it a while ago. I struggled, but you have told me it's worth getting into. I just meant with Saw, I thought the editing, like that, it's got that sort of frenetic cutting, frenetic camera, big close up, heavily tinted, saturation on the shots. that's what made me think of Saw.
I can see that.
And we got, Saw was a massive hit, and this was made only a couple of years, or maybe 1 year after the original came out. So I think that's quite a factor in it. We should probably point out, like, this is pretty low budget intervention. Like, it's reasonably low budget. The director, Brett Leonard, isn't a huge name, but he had done a fair bit of work. People probably will remember him best for the Lawnmower Man.
Yep.
Yeah, and interestingly, it's got that sort of small scale passion project feel. Seeing as like the writers Patrick Thompson, Alex O'Loughlin are starring in it as well in the main roles, and they also came up with the idea. So I sort of it has got that low budget passion project vibe to it.
Yeah, I could see that.
Big time saturation, man. They had that saturation level maxed the hell up.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
Throughout. I mean, if I just go to this again, so saturated.
Pinks, yellows, greens.
And when he goes to Germany, it's so blue. Just yeah. But also being low budget, and I also think, being Australian is no small part of this. They were able to go to some very weird places with this. I don't think a major studio would have. Oh God, am I going to be able to show this? Do you reckon I get away with this, lads?
Yeah, when they're going through all the various different fetish websites, and
I don't think you can.
Plushies and furries going at it. Oh God!
They called them fluffies, I think, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's heretical, but I don't think it's graphic. I think I'll get away with that one. But just in case I don't, folks, you send the super chats.
It's the eyes.
I know, the eyes crack me up so much. Also, squid and bear. Why? Why?
Redefines Squid Games, doesn't it?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, she's going down to the woods today, isn't she?
Oh,
yeah. I was trying to remember which episode of Millennium this film reminded me of. To a point, it reminded me of The Mikado, where they're frantically hunting down the live location of a snuff website.
Ooh, that's intriguing.
Oh my God! Talk about going down memory lane. Jenny Benevolent felt like he was just going through Metaca's old Tumblrisms videos.
Yeah,
what a throwback!
I mean, I kind of wonder. I mean, they directly, this guy's job. He searches the internet for filth, and a lot of this film is like kind of charming old school internet hacking. Like there's so much Internet Explorer activity. It's quite cute nostalgia, but obviously it's very internet focused. But I feel it's still worth saying this film is the internet leaking extensively into the real world. Like I really get the feeling that they saw some weird crap on Metaca or I don't know, a shock site or something.
Well, this is 2005. This is near the end of GeoCities, the beginning of 4chan. It's one of those where the wild, wild west is still what the internet is. It's the last gasp of the wild, wild west. The interwebs.
Oh yeah, internet forums still reigned supreme at that time.
Yeah. Just if you could think it up, you could find somebody posting it legal or not. Nobody
Rule 34, baby.
cares. Yeah.
The Alabastard. I can believe it. I'd really like to know how. What I want to know is actually like how accurate was all the hacking, because I don't know if this was like some.
It wasn't great, but it was better
Okay.
than most films.
So better than, say,
The Net.
the girl in Jurassic Park. What was she doing? Just like, I think that like it showed you that she was only working on something on the desktop or something if you looked in the address bar, etc.
Yeah, it's
Not as bad as texting someone in Excel. Never.
Oh my god, yeah.
The classic.
yeah, it's not like Sandra Bullock in The Net. That was just a piece of work.
Oh my goodness.
This
yes.
one, he was actually, the commands made sense. The rest of it was drivel, but they had to change IPs to things that nobody could search.
I was impressed they referenced VPNs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe we all got a bit savvy in the time since this was made. But yeah, it felt like they had put quite a lot of effort into that. It wasn't just like showing him furiously tapping his keyboard,
No. Did anyone else find it really annoying though that he kept almost like self-narrating what he was doing or like what he was seeing? Like he'd load a page up and he'd be like, "What's going on here?" And then he'll like look down, he'll see like, I don't know, betting odds. He'll be like, "Betting odds." He'll click into it and like, "Oh my god, they're placing bets." And then he'll go to the other one and like, "What's
Yeah,
this?"
a little bit.
I've worked in enough data centers and help desks who had to do this kind of crap. And I will tell you, autistic computer engineers talk to themselves all the time and each other. It's, oh my God, take a look at this. I mean, watching these two talk together and, oh crap, I found something, you gotta look, and immediately shares it.
Oh yeah, that I don't mind. That's fine. But it's just like when he was like having the hack offs with Michael, and it's just, or like he's just browsing the websites, and it's just the same. It's like,
I think they just needed to keep it interesting.
Yeah,
in as low budget as possible. Just like,
I know, but he didn't have to narrate it. So I can see
your yourself. I've seen this.
I have to. But what I mean is, like, I can see you're hovering over the place bets or like the odds. I can see, like he clicks onto the like the betting odds link, and he's surprised to find that people are placing bets on who's going to die next.
Well, it was 2005. It's nowadays it's expected.
Like gambling was a novel idea in 2005. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
wait a minute, they're betting on an odds site.
It wasn't so much that gambling on the web wasn't a thing in small parts, but combining gambling and filth of this nature, just nobody really talked about it. Those who did were the ones who really knew what was going on. And yeah, I was talking, as I said before, the talking to yourself and self-narrating, I saw that frequently.
I was going to grasp myself up and say I tend to talk to myself when I code, but I think I'll probably not say that now.
Too late.
No, I mean, like, there's sort of like it's difficult to explain because like I get it. Because like talking to yourself while you're working or doing something, like to me is a normal thing. Like I've done it. Like don't get me wrong, we've all done it. But it just felt like it was very much, I'm going to describe every frigging click that I do and exactly where my eyes are, just so that I can explain it to the viewer. And I was like, no,
Which
shut up.
maybe wouldn't have been too bad if there was like one scene of that. But maybe a fair question is, did we need about 4 scenes?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kept repeating himself. It kept going backwards. I know, like the betting one, I can get because obviously, you know, because I know he was looking for one that Lucy.
And the first time he got into
Deirdre.
a duel with Michael,
Yeah,
that one I could see. The other two,
yeah, that's fine.
So that aside, I mean, it seems like it's reasonably effective, if somewhat annoying, as a sort of early 2000s tech nostalgia piece. But
Maybe.
I suppose I've got to ask you, sort of, how effective is it as a body horror? I mean, that is a subgenre we're talking about. Let's just get a little bit of Deirdre up there. Was this an effective body horror?
Yeah.
yes, but they did too many of the same shot. It's they could do a shot of her, they could do the sex scene, and they could do the weigh-in, and then the final confrontation where Deirdre gets shot. They could have done without the other 3 or 4 scenes of her full body and all the exposure, just over and over and over again.
Oh, Murgoot, you are such a prude.
Yeah. Okay.
Did these scenes affect? These were in to disgust us, to make us feel a bit of squick. To
but
activate the
they got
disgust
boring
sensitivity
after
mechanism.
a while.
Yeah, no, I don't. I've always been a big practical effects fan. I did feel that the fat suit that Deirdre was wearing was quite obvious. It was quite obvious that it was a bodysuit, but
it was
fine.
It was well constructed. I mean, all the cellulite, the bulges, the varicose veins, they took a lot of time and effort to make it. Unfortunately, it was fairly obvious. But
you must have had a much higher quality version than me. As I said, I've got 480p, so that hides a multitude of effect sins.
Well, I mean, 480p would have definitely hidden the nipples.
I could have done with
no,
that.
No, it wouldn't.
No, okay, I'll tell you.
I felt that they did vary it quite nicely. Like the first time we see her, like it's sort of quite blank, and a lot of your horror comes from the fact that what's his name, Alex? Is it his name? Hang on,
Michael.
Thank you. Oh god, yeah, they only say his name about 500 times. Michael gets focused on like the weirdness of like she's there and he's stimulating himself whilst offering her a burger, and you like I thought they found a way to make it weirder and give you a slightly fresh angle on it. This scene where he's just sort of smearing her in sauce.
I wouldn't have wanted the reverse angle of that first scene. So in terms of fresh angles, that's fine. That they did all right on that first one. Like I said, I didn't mind it overall. I mean, and there was also like a gradual sort of descent as well with Michael and Deirdre.
The flashes between Philip going through his motions and then flashing to Michael and Deirdre, and then when he's going at it, flashes to him feeding his mother. The Salisbury steak scene was grotesque and showing where Michael's paraphilia comes from. And then later when it flashes between, especially when Philip gets drugged by the coffee, and then Michael injects him with the fat to create an abscess.
Oh, do you
And
know what? I showed that scene to my wife, and I was like, "This is gross," and she was like, "That looks so satisfying."
Oh, brilliant. She watches
she's-
popping
yeah,
videos, guaranteed.
Unironically, absolutely, she does.
I don't think many people will have actually managed to track this film down. I know John Gorris did. Well done, John Gorris. And any of you wonderful people on the rewatch who I sadly neglect every week, I hope you managed to track it down. But just in case you didn't, I'm having problems with the screen caps here. It's a little bit difficult to have stuff that I can get away with on YouTube. But I thought this shot of the abscess is quite a good representation. Like, I found this really effective. This was a scene where I nearly chundered. In fact, I think I messaged you guys immediately after watching it, saying like, "Oh God, nearly lost my dinner." It's like the way he finds it, and then he like squeezes the abscess, pops it all out. It was nasty as hell.
I can't believe you just did that, because I'm sitting there eating a chocolate digestive, and you just.
Well, at least it's not a custard donut. Come on.
Yeah, I was the same. Could done with the extra cream.
Yeah, but while he's sitting there hallucinating from the drug, and before he pops the abscess, it flashes to the first part of Philip's memories of his mom, him catching her having an affair.
Oh yeah.
And then flashes again to seeing his mom cucking his father with while she's giving the other guy a blowy. And yeah, that was the start of his paraphilia with was it Maggie? No, it was Abby, his girlfriend, who ends up leaving him.
It's short for Abby Cess, I believe.
Well, hey.
Now let's get her up
she
there.
cucks him. She talks about all the men and women she's sleeping with to get him horny. And I'm just kind of like, okay, dueling fetishes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
There's a lot of parallels between these two, between Philip and Michael in the film.
Parallels, paraphilias. Oh yeah, it's got the lot. I believe it was already referred to as Jungian. So whoever got there first, well done.
That is the second time I've heard Young's name mentioned today. I actually got a lot of Carl Jung references at work earlier today.
What?
Yeah, we did. We had a training thing today.
Oh,
about
okay.
Insights, like perception, character, like sort of character traits, and the guy's a massive Carl Jung fan.
Nice.
Yeah.
You'd be all prepped up on that.
I know.
These weird ass streams. Did you guys think it was a bit of a? Sorry, actually, before we go any further, TCG, was there a sort of standout body horror moment for you? I mean, I think Murgoot said his. For me, it's the abscess. The abscess was the grossest damn thing. Oh, and I also really struggled when Michael was prepping the milkshakes made of fat. It's the way his bags of fat sloshed around. I had to just look away.
I didn't actually mind that. To be fair, as usual, the only thing that really freaked me out was the injection.
Yeah.
To put the fat in, because I hate needles. Like I've said it before on stream, but I can handle all sorts of body horror and stuff like that. But injections, man, do me in every time.
Yeah. The mixing the fat with the bulking powder, I did find it funny when she spit everything up, and I'm sorry, it's too salty, and I'm just like, ooh,
yeah,
ooh, nice touch.
They also, if you'll notice, like they really turn the volume up on the sound effects for some of those scenes. Like it becomes almost like ASMR.
Especially during the flapping of the fat when Michael's going at it.
Mm.
It's just like, yeah, I didn't need to hear that.
They made very good use of sound effects. Yeah, so a pretty effective body horror, I'm going to say. Pretty effective. It's all managed to make us all sort of balk it a bit. Sorry, I think backstage, who mentioned the feeding tube?
I did.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I've done the feeding tube before, and it's not pleasant.
Mm. So, moving on, giving it thumbs up for body horror. Very efficient, very effective. And the significance of it we'll come back to, because I've got to do my little forgot my meds reading of this film. Elevate it a little bit, guys. We've got to be a bit more pretentious. Remember the channel you're on. I just wanted to bring up this guy's paraphilia because we got a good link to it. What did you think of the bold approach of Abby when he comes back, basically telling him that she's had a Diddy party run on her?
My first thought was she's proud of it, and he's somewhat accepting. The second time it comes up, oh, he's a cuck. Okay. He gets off on it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure of because it had been years and years since I'd seen this, and I'd totally forgotten that element that he is living that Destiny lifestyle. But he seemed like he seemed like okay, and then he loses the appreciation of it. But she also later in the film, she kind of I've got to think how to say this for YouTube. She tries to get him to do some eating, and I just thought she has just kind of told him you don't know who's been there, just maybe 5 minutes before.
Sorry, I when you said eating, I thought of the other scene where she's literally force feeding him.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. She's doing that, but she's basically you don't know if she's just come from the room with,
No,
five guys behind a sofa.
I'm talking literally with the ice. Was it ice cream? I think it was.
Yeah,
I was thinking that. I completely forgot about that.
That triggered his PTSD so hard. He was already having problems, and when she started feeding him after she saw him doing the investigation from home, and then she brought it out, and he was absolutely revolted by it, and sex to the point of violence kind of thing. And that's where she broke up with him, because he got too weird for her.
Which says a lot, doesn't it, about this film?
So, yeah, talk about somebody who's too involved in his own work for his own good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that copy pasta, which is women will post things like this and then wonder why every society throughout all time has kept them under very strict restrictions. But alas, I cannot find it. Gosh darn. But I wanted to mention it.
There's so many of those out there.
And I think we all know why. She is an interesting character, because my memory of her was so faded. She's, not. I thought is it just the contrast to Deirdre, where she is,
fit?
She's very fit. Is it just that she's a nice bit of totty? Then the film is unashamed to, in classic horror fashion, like every good Friday the 13th movie, get you a nice bit of crumpet to accompany your murders for a fully rounded viewing experience,
Fully perverse nymphomaniac being a man's fantasy, and her turning it to the point where it's absolutely revolting.
Exactly, yeah. Like, he comes back from the case, he's going to celebrate, and she's like, yeah, was it 5 guys and 3 girls have just hit that, bro.
Yeah.
It's a buffet down there.
All you can eat.
Yeah. Sloppy eights.
Drinks included. Grim.
Ooh.
Very grim, very grim. I mean, how can I say, let's not... As long as she doesn't speak and describe her activities, very attractive lady.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no, yeah.
I think we all enjoyed that. Is the film maybe leered a bit more than I might expect, but
Man was
Uh,
definitely punching above his weight.
definitely. Big test for this era, though, is did she as a character pass the Bechdel test? Well, we know that she did plenty with other women because she tells him the second he comes back from work. So I presume she talked to them before she did stuff with them. God, the Bechdel test, that is a callback. My goodness. My goodness. Haven't heard that for quite a while, Daniel. So to maybe get into some of the deeper readings on this stuff, I did mention to people when they watch this, maybe it would be a good time to refresh their viewings of Seven from 1995. So I've been very interested in that film. I think that needs a re-examination because it's one of those ones where you kind of gotta kind of a killer has a point sort of thing. I'm not saying he's a good guy, but he might have a point.
Yeah. His soliloquy to Philip, where he's talking about men want women curvy. It's the current fashion today, the androgyny, and making beautiful women, it's all hair and clothes, and making beautiful women look like boys. The scary part of that is I've actually used that argument well before 2005. It's talking about, fashion designers having predilections and turning girls into 10-year-old boys for their own fantasies kind of thing.
I mean,
and that really hit a nerve with me.
Yeah, I mean that's a really interesting aspect of this film as well. It's that they have a confrontation. You get a nice one where the criminal and the cop get to have a confrontation and a face-off of ideologies. And something that really struck me throughout that scene is that Michael, our villain, is basically using what should I say, S-lib arguments and comparisons and that kind of discussions. It's like he goes beyond that. Like the thing about fashion designers and them wanting androgyny is a fair old point, but he brings out all these sort of moral relativist arguments that would sound absolutely at home in The Guardian. Like, did that stand out to you?
Yes. It's instead of being revolted by his point, he goes on to make a point about wanting to go the opposite direction and bringing women into their true beauty, and he's doing the right thing by feeding them to make them expressly bringing beauty into the world and doing the right thing. And yeah, that's basically it. It's the moral relativism of changing somebody to meet his standards of beauty, and he's just gone the opposite direction.
Yeah, and when he's challenged about measuring her, that isn't it sick that you're charting her weight gain and her statistics? He's like, people measure all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like,
it goes down the list, and then Philip is like out of it, but he's absolutely revolted by it.
it just struck me as like an extremely good representation, like genuinely good writing, because we have all seen those arguments. Like, and this is in 2005. Oh, I got a big echo there. That was a bit weird. We have all seen those arguments, and the way Philip responds to them really struck me as real. Like, if you are hit with that kind of sophistic argument, TCG, I'm afraid I cannot guarantee that. I mean, I have so many screen caps to show, but this is quite merciful, so maybe I will for the while. The thing of, if you are hit with one of these sophistic arguments, they can fry your brain, because they can be so wrong that it's hard for you to think, wait, hang on, what? Yeah. Like, they come at you from an angle and a logic that you've never heard of before, that kind of breaks your brain. And it's like, if you aren't prepped for it, you can't really respond well, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like when the only thing I could think of that sort of that sort of compares was when, I don't know if you guys remember back in the days when blood sports was a thing, and JF Garapi had a debate with Vegan Gaines.
Jesus, I remember that.
Do you remember this? And he was of the pro meat eating stance, but his position was that there is a symbiotic relationship between chickens and humans, and that chickens need humans to survive, which is, I suppose, again, which when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. But he came at it from such a, I mean, I'm not endorsing this guy, because bearing in mind, he allegedly, I think he did. Allegedly,
I think he did too.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, probably did. Murder his wife. Anyway, yeah, he made that really weird, sophistic argument. And like Vegan Gaines was just like, what? Like, how do you respond to this he's saying? It makes no sense, but at the same time, it's like, okay, on a spiritual level, maybe.
He's oh God. All I can say is
he mashed that potato.
I was thinking of
that whole interview was a train wreck, and then the only thing I can think of, JF's sophistry getting so far off the rails was his interview with the small channel Real Housewives of Alberta, and they basically exposed him and almost got him to admit to planting his mentally challenged ex-wife. They almost got him to admit it.
Oh, really?
Oh, damn.
Have you got a link for that? I'll watch that after.
I'll send that to you.
Yeah, because I have been sort of keeping an eye on him, because he has been he's been saying some really bloody strange things lately.
Lately? He's been saying really strange things since she disappeared.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I'll look that up here.
I was going to try and rescue us from the JFG rabbit hole, but I can't make it any better. I was thinking this is sort of brain-melting, sophistic argument I thought of was one Vaush describing why Haribo-related material of a cheese pizza should be absolutely legal. Because really, if you think about it, when you buy a computer, children were hurt in the mining of the, some of the rare minerals.
Yeah.
So it's basically, you just got to be consistent. So it's the same thing, really. And you're like, your brain just melts. It's like a lot of the online discourse is basically someone learning a sophistic attack, like a kind of a special combo on an arcade game. And it's like, if you haven't learnt the counter, you can't do anything. It's like, that's why so many of those vox pops where someone is owned, destroyed by facts and logic, it's just like the average person is not prepared for an argument that weird, coming from such unusual logic, that you kind of need a special kind of brain to unpick it and find out exactly where the wrongness starts. But yeah, so I thought Michael's use of that argument was incredibly prescient, very well written, because the team really got him to. I'm not saying he was genuine, but they got him to express his ideas in a compelling and convincing manner. But the other aspect that really stood out to me, that sort of made me think of Seven, was basically that aspect of the film is that you have got the serial killer who's basically challenging liberalism. He's challenging the cops and saying kind of, what are you guys standing up for? He's targeting people who haven't done any crime, but are embodying vice in a way that would have had them expelled from societies, 100 years ago. And then geniusly, I can't have Seven overtake this stream because I love that movie. it needs more analysis. But he then uses the liberal system that the cops, Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt, are there to uphold against them. They're trying to. They've got him banged to rights. They've got him to justice, and he's just like, okay. Basically, here's a human rights lawyer, played by a particularly shifty Richard Schiff. There to say basically human rights, all my legal protections. Yeah, you can't do anything. And it really does challenge them. And it is kind of like a Carl versus Lindsay thing. It is a film rather bravely and unexpectedly challenging a lot of the assumptions that we made, that everything rests on. Now, I think Feed is going into that territory too, and I'll wrap this up quickly, guys, because I know I've been talking for ages on this. You've been very kind in letting me wrap it. But this film frequently brings up like extreme things like the guy getting cucked or the feeder fetish, or all sorts of things. And it leans on this my choice argument, consent argument, right? And it what does it show us straight away? What's at the start? The German cannibal case. What does the guy say? I wanted it. I wanted this. It's throwing up the idea of, in a liberal society, these are all consenting adults. What's the argument against it?
Very true. Very true.
And in this exact case, I think you referenced it, didn't you, TCG? It was the Arvin Mirvas. I don't know why. I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Arvin Maives?
Maives? Yeah.
Maives, I think.
I wasn't sure how to pronounce it, but they actually couldn't convict him, I believe. Like there was like legally
mentally unstable. They hospitalized him, as far as I know.
Yeah. But they couldn't get him for manslaughter, I believe, or murder.
So he was initially, I'm just having a quick look. Yeah, so he was diagnosed with schizoid personality, but he was deemed mentally fit to stand trial. He described it. Okay, he was convicted of manslaughter, sentenced to 8 years, 6 months in prison. But there was a retrial. There was a retrial. Argument that he should have been convicted for murder because he killed for gratification. About proved by videotaping the crime. 2006. It could be he was then convicted of murder on the 10th of May and sentenced to life imprisonment. But yeah, he's in a socio-therapeutic correctional facility. In 2018, they ruled that he would not be eligible for parole after 15 years and would only receive any form of release if psychiatrists judged him to pose no further danger to society at large. But he has been allowed to go outside of prison for supervised excursions in disguise and around town in a different state. There's crazy German cannibal bowling around in a
goodness me
hat and like one of those like moustache glasses combos.
Hang on, I don't know if you said it. I was trying to find out where I got my information from. So forgive me if you said this already.
I'm looking at Wikipedia. But,
all right. Yeah, well, that's probably better than when I'm looking at this. This was in the trivia on feed, and I found it interesting. Mr. Maivas was shielded from murder charges under laws that were originally enacted to protect doctors who assist terminally ill patients to commit self-deletion.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. There you go.
At the time, cannibalism was not explicitly forbade in any statute, and it was unclear whether a crime had ever been committed under existing German law, a situation that many, both in Germany and abroad, found absurd and macabre.
They
got him eventually by the sound of it.
Yeah. He's a vegetarian. Yeah, he's a vegetarian now.
Oh my
Remember,
goodness.
this is
what a world.
Germany where they did a pilot program for 10 years where they let nonces foster kids to teach them family love.
Yeah.
The Germans have a really good track record.
Yeah, the denazification went intense. Done a number on him. But, so, what do you think of...
No, she's got it again.
Oops.
So I think in summary, what Horrorshow is basically saying is Philip is woke, right? Trying to impose his moral view on these, these well-meaning liberal individuals who, just want to live their life the way that they want to, uninterrupted. They don't want society or the government interfering.
Yeah, he went rogue to do it too.
Yeah, he did very much so, and that's what annoyed me. And another thing as well, he had a gun, which he could have only obtained illegally or smuggled through customs.
Well, he went to a pawn shop and gun shop for it, but since he's not a U.S. citizen, he shouldn't be able to buy it.
So he obtained it illegally, didn't he? Like, clearly.
Yeah.
I wonder if he did like a Terminator. Like Terminator when he goes into the gun shop.
Terminator, or he had enough cash on him to buy it under the counter, which is entirely possible in some areas.
Yeah, but it just really wound me up. Like, it just wound me up. And then, like, the interactions with them too as well. Like I say, it's just so
Michael's wife, the religious fanatic.
He's Not only does he like them big booty babies, she's gone again. But he's also a
Chinese waifu wife.
He's a weeb. Oh mate, was there any point in her?
Not really.
Ah, there wasn't, was there?
No. Even when he said, "Oh, I've got her tied up out in the car," and Michael's like, "Okay."
Yeah, I know. That's right. Does she die in the back of the car as well? Because like she's like all struggling, and then like just all of a sudden she just
Choking
stops.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like what? Like, nothing happens. And also, as Michael's going around, not Michael, sorry, as Philip's going around Michael's mother's house, he finds an old man in there, which I can only assume is Michael's dad. I can only assume.
Yeah, that's my father. He hasn't moved for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. And like he's not referenced again.
There's so many non sequiturs in this. It's just so many loose ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is he still there at the end of the film? Like, presumably, he must be dead.
Well, didn't they jump over his couch in in the chase scene and the fight scene? It's kind of like, what's going on?
Oh mate, I just lost track. I gave up. Like when it was 50, like we got to the end, got to the very end scene. I think there was about 15 minutes left, right? When Deirdre, and like Philip are like having this like final debate with Michael. Sorry, Michael is trying to like grandstand, I guess, against Philip, while Deirdre's doing her best Eric Cartman impression. And I'm thinking 15 minutes. This scene can't last that long. We're right at the very end now. There's not really much like kill the bad guy, free the, detain the bad guy or kill the bad guy. Call for help, even if she don't want it, because you'll hear clearly to try and save her. And then we can have a nice little close off to this film. And that lasted 10 minutes.
Hang on. I feel vindicated here. I was talking about this scene backstage, wasn't I, Murgoot? I was saying
yes, you were.
I was dying in this scene.
It was killing me. I was just like, shoot him, do something. But they're just standing and like walking around in circles against each other, and then like, or like just a little bit before that, when he's got, when he's Michael's subdued Philip, and then he's got him like on the bed, and like they're filming and things like that. And it's just like the random bit. He's like, "You're live in front of the world," and he's like, "You wouldn't do that. Live streaming's too dangerous."
It struck me as we've got limited locations. This is an expensive one. We've got to fill up the runtime. Let's shift our power dynamics. It's going on forever.
And then Michael babbles for a while with Philip pointing the gun at him, and just out of the blue, Philip just shoots Deirdre. And
yeah, that was when I was like, "What? Why? What? Why?"
Because he's woke right. He's woke right, and we disapprove. This is what they do. James Lindsay vindicated. He's like, actually, no, she's not. No, he's based, right? He's like, nah, you know what? She's not a victim. She's a social problem. Very Chad, Phil. Very Chad. I was off for ages because my microphone got booted from this, which is why I couldn't speak or hear. I did catch you talking about the Asian waifu before I got booted.
Yes, so he likes big booty babes, but is also a weeb.
It's Jungian, it's that Jungian thing, the shadow self and the righteous self who likes the bustyasianbabes.com.
Preferences. See.
Well, he did the whole soliloquy about thin women, and turns out his wife is a thin, attractive woman normally attractive woman,
Mm.
but his shadow self goes back to Deirdre all the time.
See,
that's the thing. Phil
I think we stepped over the fact that, this wife 100% died of an asthma attack in the back of that van.
Oh shit!
They established
I
asthma.
know. So what the fuck? Honestly, I just thought of something. Which it's to do with the color yellow. And the course that we did this morning about social power.
Oh dear.
So let's just say that Bill has more fiery red energy when it comes to Deirdre, but really has to scrape the bottom of that yellow sunshine well for his wife.
Oh dear. But to try and rescue it, just like capping it off, I think this film, with its whole, well, hey, we're consenting to it, and the consent covers getting, the guy's trying to rein his wife in. It's like, his girlfriend in Abby, and she's like, no, hey, it's my body, I can do what I want. Deirdre is like, it's my body, I can do what I want. And the cannibal at the start is like, it's my body, I can do what I want. Our boy, Phil, he's there to show you, actually, modern problems require
nightmare.
Yeah, modern problems require modern solutions. Or medieval solutions, if you will.
I think it absolutely killed Philip though when Michael was like, "What was this? What you were expecting? A hero's welcome?" And she's just like, "God damn it! Get the fuck out of my house! God damn it! God damn it! God damn it! God damn it! I'm trying to eat it."
I absolutely loved that.
Yeah,
like, we're in 2005, and not only does Deirdre not want to be rescued, but the guy, I thought we were set up for the, oh my gosh, he's having a psychotic moment. He's gone fully delusional. And he's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. Yeah. Yeah, much fun with that, with the just like, yeah, we're not doing that trope. I know you expected it, but nah, not having it. Not having it at all.
This is for all of its faults, it's a very self-aware movie. It really is. Just, they understand the tropes and they avoided them when they weren't subverting the tropes.
One scene just sprung to mind. Sorry, it's a bit earlier in the film, which is how ridiculous the script is on this. So, Philip finds the home address of one of the priests who worked at a church, whatever, and then he finds out that they essentially took Michael in when he was like 15, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they obviously regretted that decision after he walked in one day and saw Michael jerking his gherkin over his younger adopted sister while she was sleeping, who also happened to be a bit of a porker herself. And then like he sees his daughter, who's grown up, obviously grown up now, in the house. He shuts the door, and then Philip's like, what tell me about Michael. And the vicar's like, or the priest is like, we don't say his name around here. We don't talk about Michael. And then literally the next scene, the daughter's walking down the street, and he's like, hey, so what can you tell me about Michael? And she's like, oh yeah, no, he's my brother. Yeah, he's got a place up there.
Oh, this scene.
Yeah.
How would you rate his riz? Basically going up to her and being like, I was here to meet this girl, but she was 5'2", 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Perfect. I loved it. Very highly targeted, like heat-seeking, laser-focused riz game.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's
I mean, it worked.
He got his information, but the way it was written was just so abrupt, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Oh,
Hey, that's You ever tried Burger King? Yeah.
There,
Do you know
there
what
are
they
some
should?
great lines in this film,
but
like
the
him
thing is,
shouting to Deirdre, "Don't move."
Yeah. No, they missed the trick with that. See, the thing is, like, when she turned around and said, "Have you ever tried Burger King?" He could have turned around and said, "No, but I have tried a Hungry Jack's." Like, they missed the trick. They missed the trick.
She was kind of cute though. No,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
me. Oh, good.
the near the end scene when they're. How did he manage to stay in the country?
Yes. Oh
and
my God, I was
marry
thinking
the
that as well.
daughter? It's like, what the hell? And
America
then-
don't. Americans, well, certain aspects of America don't even like these white South Africans coming over to their country. You know,
Aussie's okay.
what are they going to do with it? Well,
They got a road pass.
it depends. But you've got a murderous Australian there, and let's be honest, he's a murderer. Yes,
Mhm.
Deirdre was having a good old Cartman moment, but it wasn't like she was a threat to his life. It wasn't like she was going to be able to get up and roll on top of him.
You notice he's not playing acting. He's stuck with her.
Yeah. Why?
He's been won over.
Get out of here! I can't move.
But given that he's stuck with her, does this mean he's integrated his shadow self?
Maybe.
He's become his shadow.
Mm.
He's gone all the way.
No, he's integrated. That's why he's got an acceptably plump wife. He's found that good balance point.
Yeah, but he did go the other way though, didn't he?
Feed me.
True. I mean, I suppose that is what we're leading up to.
Parallels.
This is a minor point, but there's a thing I kind of like where these kind of movies, small scale, niche, they tend to be all about a build up to maybe usually like one shot, and it's like that's where the money goes, right? There's one difficult shot promised by the premise that they want to try and deliver. So for an example, Teeth, they were big on like the final shots of the dongs being bitten off. They focused on that. That was a big shot they needed to deliver. A really interesting movie called Grace has about the most horrific breastfeeding you could imagine. Is like the final shot of it, and it's the big coup de grace payoff. This film has its own version, which is the one right at the end. I will spoil it. I usually don't sort of show what we call the money shot, but here I think it's quite cool. And I suppose Saw as well. Calling back to our good friend Saw, that had the big moment of the payoff of the taking the foot off. It was built up to a film. This one, it's all about the journey to this image. I love it. Like, I thought this was sold really, really well.
Yeah.
Is that? I will say, is that impressive makeup, or did this guy go? He thinned down.
Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah.
I've got a feeling like I'd love to know, but there's not much written about this online.
Yeah.
If I had a small budget like this film,
Well, if you had a small budget, they wouldn't have a canteen. So,
all right,
shoot the end scenes at the start, and then we'll circle back to this bit at the end.
Well, put it this way, right? This guy is the story creator, the writer, and one of the main stars. This is his project. It's not just a job for him, right? So he's not ditching it. So if I were him and I had to do this, I'd be like, right, we're going to get everything we can. We'll wrap filming for like a couple of months. And then during those 2 months, he's going to go Christian Bale mode for The Machinist. He's going to be on chewing gum and cigarettes, and just like blitzing it for 2 months until he looks like this. Because the challenge, this is a real challenge effects wise. It is really hard to take stuff off. It's much easier to add stuff on. This is why there's a whole industry in like amputee stuntmen. Al Strobel comes to mind. Mike, sorry, I forget his actual, the guy possessed by Mike in Twin Peaks. You can correct me, guys. I know you know his name. Or some of the artists who have Ayla Dutton lost. Like I've mentioned them many times, but Camden Toy, Doug Jones,
Yeah.
chap
Or they
from
can do
what's his name?
skin
Who's in Wreck.
manipulation. They can contort. They can, yeah.
Lads, let me just stop you there for a second.
Uh-huh.
This guy knobbed Holly Valance
Hang on, what?
for 4 years.
No. In a row? Did he give her a
In a row.
break?
No.
Was this before or after Holly Valance was in the Dead or Alive movie?
When did that come out?
2005?
That could have been around that time.
What?
2006. 2006 during.
What? He's rodding her
Yep.
during Dead or Alive?
Apparently so.
Goodness
Between
me.
2005 and 2009, they were together.
She'd have been doing a pop thing then, wouldn't she?
No. I think she stopped doing that. I think it was like 2003, 2004. I think it was.
Yeah.
Her pop career was quite short-lived, actually. Although she's come out recently over on these shores because she's pro-reform, isn't she?
Is she?
Yeah.
Bonza.
Yeah.
Goodness me, though. I mean, that's she's not getting a bad deal there. I mean, he was pretty muscular through most of this film.
Yeah. But then also he looked like Milo Yiannopoulos. Oh no, but he wasn't really around at that time. So
No. God, you imagine he gets home to Holly and he's like, "You all right, babe? You have fun at work today? What'd you do?" Imagine him having to describe himself. Patrick Batman sent in £2. Thank you very much. Is this a writer's barely disguised fetish?
is this what he wanted to do to Holly Valance? If so, boo.
Boo. Maybe, who knows? They cover a lot of interests. Some would say, you've got to hide the real details, so probably this is their main thing. Or maybe it was that. I don't know. Thank you, Patrick. Very, very much appreciated. You missed most of the stream, but you know what? If you haven't seen the movie, give the movie a watch and then come back. It's good times. It's good times. I had to be very selective with my screen caps. There is not much from this movie that I'm able to show. It's very fleshy. It's very filth. As well as it's not just Holly Valance he's been in. He was also in the Hawaii Five-0 reboot.
Yeah, which is so good. Let me tell you.
Cozy. Very cozy. I'm guessing he's a guy who sort of had the best career after this.
A little bit.
I'm gonna have a look.
Yeah, he gets paid well for Hawaii Five-0, even though the show is dreck. But
I am shocked. 240 episodes of that he did. Goodness me. Oh, he was also, hang on. He was in The Shield. He's in 7 episodes of The Shield. My goodness. Amazing.
Creeper Weirdo, did you mention the "Do I Look Dead to You" scene? It's so good.
There were many choice moments. I'm trying to think of that one actually.
That's towards the end, I think, if I remember correctly. Because he was talking about, because I think he was referring to Lucy. I think I can't really remember. Honestly, I'll just Well, the script on this was so shocking. I did just tune out. But yeah, because he's talking about Lucy, like, you're killing them, and she's like, do I look good? God damn it, do I look good to you?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. God, I mean, you spoiled for choice. I thought the actress's best moment was the bit where he tells her not to move. You know, in the finale. It's like, where do you think I'm gonna go? Like, this film is having a heck of a lot of fun whilst hiding its basing. By the way, if you want to see it, we've got the actress there, outside the fat suit. So, like, she's not tiny, but she, you know, they did definitely have to build her up. Her main thing is
a screenshot and a half. That is Horror Show.
I thought you'd like that one. I do my best. It's Gabby Millgate, best known for Muriel's Wedding, but this is a bit of a gem. She's having fun with that one. Anyway, I'll knock that off. Thanks again, Patrick Batman. Much appreciated. What should we go back to? I think we'll go back to this. I like the funnel.
Just also, she was also in Babe, Pig in the City. She was a female officer in that, apparently. Quite fitting.
Very rando.
There you go.
Very rando stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's propelled the director's career, but it's nothing to be ashamed of for this.
Oh my god! Do you know what was retarded in this scene as well? Sorry, I'm saying the word because it was. But
go for it.
Do you know, like, when he's pistol whipped? Michael has pistol whipped Phil, and he's on the sort of like huddled up in the corner. Now Michael has the gun in his hand. Okay, he wants to, and Michael wants to keep feeding Deirdre, right? So he turns around and he says to Michael, "Don't you move! Don't you move! You stay right there! You stay right there! Don't you move!"
And then forces Phil to feed Deirdre.
But it's not just that. It's not just that bit. But it's when, like, so he decides to put the gun down, turn his back to Deirdre. Sorry, to Philip. To do. Oh no, that was it, because he was smothering her. He was smothering her. That's right.
Yeah.
And then Michael's just I get the bloody names of it. So Philip is there, like, looking over at the gun, just staring at it for about 30 seconds. Probably longer. This was like a 15-minute end scene, by the way. Whilst Deirdre is being suffocated to death, Michael has his back turned to Philip, is completely ignoring anything that Philip can do. And it isn't until he stops, because he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Turns around to Michael. Michael turns around and looks at Philip, who is still staring at the gun very blatantly. Philip is like, "I'm going to have a look at the gun as well." And then he carries on. And then Philip decides, "Actually, I'm going to get the gun now."
Yeah, this is what we TV tropes calls idiot balling back in the day. After basically saying, "I'm not going to do this psychopathic killer trope. I'm not going to do this psychopathic killer trope. And I've got the upper hand." It's like, well, we still need you to lose. So you're going to have to pick up the idiot ball, drop 40 IQ points, and just like, there we go. That's how we're going to make it happen.
God. Oh, so many problems, so little time.
Yeah, as we said earlier, I mean, it didn't seem to have bothered you as much, which is fine. But this scene dragged so horrifically. I was dying. I was absolutely dying in it. I'm glad TCG said it as well.
Yeah, you weren't the only one.
Just, bro, it's fine. This can be a 90-minute movie. There's quite a few subplots that, frankly, they could have. This is absolutely sweet at like an 85-minute. Like, all the stuff of the boss giving them a hard time that went absolutely nowhere. We could have skipped.
Yeah. Tricky Menthol had it right. The alternate ending was just shit.
Yeah, I'm glad you referenced that Tricky Menthol. Yes.
It's the boss showing up and just shooting Philip in the chest twice, and it's done. It's like, where the hell did that come from?
Oh my god! I just realised I linked that to you, didn't I? The extent,
Yeah.
the alternate ending.
Yes.
I didn't. I never actually watched it. I'm going to quickly go and watch it now.
Oh, it's
Give it
60 seconds of Drek.
I suppose it at least means that it's worth us paying attention to the boss getting annoyed, but it also exists firmly in that realm of who cares about reality. Like you guys talked about, how does he get there? How does he get a gun? How does he stay in the country, etc., etc.?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm on spider duty. Before I watch that, I've just been alerted.
Fair play, fair play.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's a brutal ending. You know, it doesn't work for me. It comes out of nowhere, and the real ending is, you know, the excellent payoff that we got. We were set up the whole film for the duality, for the payoff, the alternate ending, the start with feed me, coming from the glutton, from a place of excess and abundance, and ending on the exact inverse, the man being deprived and saying feed me from a place of starvation and scarcity. It's that's the right ending. That is the way to do it. And then he got shot is just, it doesn't add anything.
It doesn't add anything. It comes out of nowhere, and you're just like, yeah, if they would have done it, it would have been better that they came in and arrested Philip, not just shot him from a distance kind of thing. It was so bogus.
Yeah, very glad it was excised. I'm wondering about TCG's take, but it's only a short ending. What do you reckon, TCG?
What, the ending?
Takes on the alternate ending?
I'm just about to check it now. Let me see if I can find it.
We'll continue babbling here for a bit. I have to say it was well filmed. The color selections were okay. They were a bit over the top, but just it was a good contrast for each separate scene. It's not as bad of a contrast as, say, the cook, the thief, his wife, and her lover, but it was a nice touch in the 90s, early 2000s style of everything being shaded. But that got taken so far it became a stereotype.
Well, this is doing that, you know. I'm thinking especially it was so blue when they went to Germany, you know.
What? Hold on.
I see you're enjoying the alternate ending there.
What the fuck? It's got.
Oh, it's a beauty, huh? So 2 thumbs up there.
Men, it's done. Yeah, fuck, good.
Bless.
Oh my god, this is absolute peak wank. Oh my! I've seen
Getting
it all
such
now.
a call back to that.
I've seen it all now.
I think we've reached peak wank.
Yeah, 100%. That was fucking awful. It just goes outside, just walks outside. There's a sniper with a blonde mop on his head. It's like, mate, anyone was going to spot that hairstyle.
Oh, dear.
It was so retarded.
Oh my lord! Like, why, man? Oh, there's so much context missing there.
Excellent
Oh.
use of mate. Imagine how stanky it is. I'm just looking at this room now and just like, how stinky do you reckon it is for Michael there? Like, if Philip's turning up there, is he going home with like some of that residual stank on him?
Probably.
God.
That's probably why he sits out on the balcony.
Oh, especially after rolling around in Lucy's remains. I mean,
Oh, hidden depths. Oh yeah, did we miss the bit where they found an excuse for the guys to slosh around in the poop bucket? Like the most unnecessary part of that finale.
through the house and tripping him, throwing him into the garbage bags with the remains of the
Yeah.
previous victim. Just
Well, it's
kind
also
of
the gun goes into her poop bucket. And so they have to both get their hands in. It's like, oh, you nasty bastard.
Oh, mate, at that,
mention to that, you know.
at that point, I feel like you're old. Yeah, you can have that, mate. I'm not touching that. Nah. Thing probably won't work properly now. So, you know, if you want to dive in there, mate, you are free to do that.
Or when Michael throws him Philip into the back of the kitchen in the pot of boiling.
Oh
yeah.
Actually, how was that?
Phase Philip just looks at it and brushes it off. You're just like, what?
Yeah.
No, boiling fat messed you up pretty bad. But I love the shots of Michael crouching on top of the fridge. I wish I had a shot of that. But
that was pretty dumb too. Just
well, the chase sequence was just again, it absolutely stunk of. We got to fill up the time. We got this location. We're gonna run around, do cat and mouse. You know, we're gonna reach feature length. Darn it! Ah, good times. Well, I feel we've kind of got to. I think we pretty much covered it. I've covered my slightly schizoid reading that this is a frenetic Aussie version of Seven, or certainly the challenge to liberalism that that film expressed. Subtly, you know, no one's ramming it down your throat, but it's in there. It's definitely in there when you notice how people justify things. And we've covered our various favorite moments of absolute disgust. This should, by the way, be scoring very high amongst everyone here. You know, I'm sure I have a cosmopolitan audience, but it is noted that those of a sensible centrist disposition rather, do tend to have markedly higher disgust sensitivity reactions. So this should be made for us. This should be guaranteed to get a bigger response from us than the average lefty audience. So, you know, just putting that in there. With that said, if you guys are okay, unless there's another aspect you wanted to cover, shall we move into closing thoughts and scores?
Yeah, let's go for it.
I really appreciated the Holly Valance trivia. You know,
yeah, I know that was a nice little surprise there. Lucky bastard.
I'm just going to get her up in DOA. Did that have Devon Aoki as well?
I've got no idea. I don't think I've seen that. Am I missing out?
I don't know. It depends if you've got a. It does have Devon Aoki.
Oh, there you go. Oh yeah, I'm missing
on. See, all I've got are the sort of really low res versions. This is terrible.
I'm just thinking about that alternate ending. I can't get over that. Do you know? I can make that alternate ending worse.
How?
Right. So that 1 minute 30, you play it out exactly the same as it is. Okay. However, you're going to add to it. So Man gets on the phone. It's done. You might want to get a cleanup crew. Okay. Hangs up the phone. Gets into the car. Car explodes. Pan back to Michael. Looks up at the camera. Holds. You pan back to Michael, who looks up, smiles, stands up. It turns out that he had freed himself from his restraints and is holding a detonator. Yeah, you hate that, didn't you? You hate it.
A little bit.
Yeah. You hate it.
Oh, on the event, just sort of on a dead or alive photo binge here.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah.
Oh, goddamn.
We got, I mean, there's potato quality, but yeah, there you go. Devon Aoki from Too Fast, Too Furious. I'm sure you guys remember. Right Honourable Fez remembers.
So, if Michael was here right now, he'd say those two girls on the left could probably do with a bit more meat on their bones, but the girl on the right, absolutely fine.
Exactly. He's a man of specific tastes.
Yeah.
How would you feel about like a supersize Southeast Asian woman? Would that just be the perfect one for him?
You know what she would eat, right?
Mm.
1 ton soup.
Oh, that's terrible. That is awful.
That's proper horror show levels.
That is freaking atrocious. Mr. GB, as it's your request, I'm happy to provide. All right. Oh yeah. Right Honourable Fez proving himself to be the Devon Aoki expert.
Oh wow.
Sin City, Deadly Little Miho. Yeah, goodness me. My ho. If I had my way.
She's my ho, not yours.
All right. Well, with Ms. Valance keeping us company, shall we go into closing thoughts and scores and start?
This film's shit. It's awful. The script is terrible. The story doesn't make sense. The motivations of the main character start off somewhat admirable. He's willing to bend and break laws to try and seek justice for somebody who he perceives as being victimized, who actually isn't being victimized because she's completely all up for it, albeit doesn't know the full story. Fine, whatever, but she's still saying, God damn it, get out of my house, you son of a bitch. This was fucking awful. However, what makes up for it is the body horror. If it's a body horror film, does it quite well. The pus scene where he removes what I can only describe as fat from the abscess, and like the scenes when he's getting all freaky with the white wobbly woman were quite disturbing. So you get points for that. I would not. Well, actually, no. I would inflict this on my worst enemy, because if I had to sit through 90 odd minutes of this shit, then they should. But I would plug the end scene on, the alternate / extended scene, just to torture them that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And wire them up like Alex and Clockwork Orange.
3 out of 12 burgers. They are 1 pounder burgers stacked on 1 pounder burgers, stacked on a half pounder burger, sandwiched in between an entire Happy Meal. And then that is also surrounded by a bacon double XL cheeseburger Burger King meal. Because, hey, have you been to Burger King? Have you tried it? Have you tried a Burger King?
It's a heck of a line. All right, lovely. I think it's a fair score. That's a fair one. Given the response so far, we've also got a 2 and a 4 in. The Alabastard and Daniel Hall not exactly won over by this one. Murgoot, how about yourself?
I give it 4 heart attack burgers. the 12 patties and 24 slices of cheese in between 2 1-pound buns and a side of fat slathered fries. Just, oh God. It's lots of rotten pickles, oversized gherkins. I thought the flashbacks were done well. It set things up well. The cinematography was okay. It was so disjointed in places, and so many loose ends, and so many leads that went absolutely nowhere. Him rizzing on the preacher's daughter just came out of nowhere and was done so pathetically. It's, yeah, no.
Okay.
The
Fair
only
play.
reason I'm giving it 4 instead of 3 is because they actually cut the alternate ending.
You're hoping for that sort of Wiseau effect to move it up one. Like, you might as well make it that bad. Fair play. Well, controversially, I'm giving it a much higher score relatively. I'm going for a 6. Okay, there are problems with this film, as you guys have amply discussed and very ably discussed. But as a body horror, it's effective. I found many scenes very difficult to watch, and maybe people less hardened to body horror would have an even bigger effect from that, because I'd already seen it the once, so it didn't have as much novelty for me. I was also a bit numbed by watching far too much My 600 Pound Life. But nevertheless, it was effective. I'm also bumping it up for the knowing hilarity of many lines that we enjoyed. Do I look dead to you? Needs more appreciation.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely taking points off. I found the editing very annoying. The scenes that dragged really did drag. But gosh darn it, I like that subtext. 7 does it far more classily, but this is getting to the same idea very well. So there we go. It's a 6 for me. Oh, we actually have more appreciative score. Fez has gone for a 7. So I'm not alone in
with a wafer thin.
Sorry, chat. I've just got some breaking news. Apparently, Shiloh Hendricks has been watching this stream, and she has messaged me to say that she would like to score this film a 4. She agreed 100% with my 3 out of 12, but she's giving it an extra 1 because if you watched it with the subtitles on, when Philip called himself Nige, the subtitles actually spelt it N-I-G.
Ooh. Thank you, Miss Hendricks, for your service. That's going to be weird on the rewatch. Very confusing for people, but you can enjoy looking up that rabbit hole. Yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah. So
she would have scored it 14, but we don't have that many burgers.
Base Charlie. So, hey, I mean, what can I say? Around here, we do love a Hendrix, don't we, folks?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, there we go. A very unique film. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I like that we're getting to cover a weird one. Thank you, Mr. GB, for allowing us to make this your request. Oh, and we've got to move on to next week's film. Now, I've got to check my list here. Did I forget? I somewhat forgot. I believe what we're doing is an interesting... We're on an obscure one again, guys. I believe it is Red Room.
Do you know what? I was gonna I was going to say to you, should we watch it? Because I was looking through some like movies earlier today, and I saw that, and I thought, ooh, should have a look at that.
Red Rooms, the French film.
Is it Red? Sorry, Red Rooms. Yeah, French.
Is that the 2017 one?
I've got 2023.
Oh, okay. I might be looking at a different one then.
Yeah,
French
that's
and
the one.
Canadian.
Oh, yeah. So that was a member request from Adam Loves Horror. Actually, I think someone else actually backed. I think that might have been Essie also wanted Red Rooms and backed that up. I could be wrong, but it was definitely Adam Loves Horror was interested in that one. So let's get that up here. So this is our horror homework for next week. Red Rooms 2023. If I've got that wrong and it's actually 2017, I will correct myself. But I'll get that stream.
No, you're definitely right. You're definitely right.
I'll get that one booked in for you. So there we go. Red Rooms 2023 is the member request for next week. Do you know Devon Aoki's had 4 kids? That's good going, that.
Blimey.
Yeah, Devon Aoki facts. There you go, Fez. She's been busy. All right, folks. We've had your analysis of Feed from 2005. You have got your horror homework for next week, which is Red Rooms from 2023. I still have to get in the time for a stream on Alex Garland's Men. That's a bonus one. You do not need to pay for that. That's been something I've been wanting to do, so we'll get that in on an upcoming weekend. And there is upcoming member bonus content on Smile and Smile 2, so it's a very good time to be a member. And you've also had a bonus fair amount of Holly Valance, which I think we all appreciate. No?
Sorry,
Just
you
me?
absolutely.
Lovely times. All right. Well, thank you, TCG, and thank you, Murgoot.
No, pleasure as
Thank
always.
you.
Thank you. I will make sure to watch the right film for next week's stream. Okay.
Always good. I mean, I feel like the punishment imposed itself in that case, you know.
Yeah. And the thing is, I thought, oh crap. Okay. I mean, I hated the one that I watched first, but I somehow managed to hate this one more.
Did they do good thin effects in the first one you watched out of interest? Because that's definitely
I think again, like with what the lead antagonist did in this film, I think she starved herself a little bit, to be fair, because she did look quite thin.
Gotta say, it's the only way, man.
Yeah.
Makeup can only do so much. I mean, I suppose we can CGI now, but not in 2007 or 2005.
Yeah.
Right. Well, good times. And yeah, lovely having the gang back together. Chat, thank you. You've been hilarious. And I hope you've got yourselves a lovely Friday tomorrow and a lovely weekend after that. I'm going to leave it off here. Thanks, y'all. Cheers.
#ShowGang.